really.
So let's talk about the North American Championships in Chicago, which is on everybody's mind here in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And people are talking a lot about qualifications and roll downs. Someone or a couple people have said, I heard they might be doing something different. Let's separate rumor from fact, Mintra. Let's put it on the record. What is happening? Who is going to be in Chicago?
Well, the lineup, I can't tell you the lineup right now. It's going to just, I mean, you know who the top 30 are, so it's going to be one of those. There's no, but let's just take it back a step. So the US Championships and the European Championships are open championships, and we've communicated that in the beginning. It's in the rule book. It's like it's an open championship, both of them. That's open to all nationalities, kind of like in the style of the US Open, where anyone from any nation can enter and win. And the thing about it was, since it was Europe and US, people thought, okay, those are regionals, right? But they're not really regionals, because at one point we were talking about having a championships in the Middle East, but we haven't had an event there yet, so that got canceled. So there was lots of stuff in the talks, but we did that at the beginning of the season. We sat down and we picked events, because we wanted to have 3 elite races or possibly 4. So we picked events where we could do that. And like the European Championships and the US Championships is just like a great opportunity to host these elite events, right? So then moving forward a little bit, it then kind of like became, I guess, in everyone's mind, because the location happened to be one in Europe and one in the US, that those are regionals. And then people just didn't understand. I guess long story short, if we would have called it the European Open Championships and the US Open Championship, I think that would have like right there killed a lot of the questions or the controversy around it. But yeah. So what was the question again? Sorry. Crap, I'm talking too much. What was the question again?
Well, I want to get some clarity first. So yesterday's event, anyone could have signed up for.
Anyone? Okay, so we still okay. Let's. It's an age group race and an elite race. As far as the age group race, anyone can sign up for. No qualification process needed. However, if to be in the elite, we do have that one rule that you're gonna have to have a time that qualifies you, right? But there's no rule as far as your age, your gender, where you come from. It doesn't matter. You just have to be fast in the pro category.
Right, but there is no pro category. There's just the elite at these championships events.
Yes, then in the championship. Yeah, I was talking to how can you qualify for the elite, right? We have that ongoing ranking system where you do a pro race anywhere in the world, and if you have a good time, then you're in that ranking, and that's how you automatically become top 15. So yeah, there was no qualification when it comes to that, but then obviously you're gonna have to be racing in a race in the pro category to become part of that.
Right. So why isn't there a pro category at Masters and Chicago? Why is there only open and the elite 15? You can qualify technically in the pro category for a future, right?
Yeah, we had this last year. We changed it. So in last year's Maastricht European Championships, we did have a pro category, but no elite. So we just sat down at the beginning of the season, and we were trying to like figure out how we can include these elite races. So then the decision was, if there's an elite race, then there's no pro category. There's really no there's no special thought behind it. It was just if we do this, we won't do that type thing.
Okay, it's not about time or logistics. It's just a choice.
Yeah, choice. Yeah.
Okay, so I guess my question is, even though they're not quote unquote regionals, I feel like if you do, it says you qualify for both, but it does seem like it would make more sense to pick one, because then you've got other people that can qualify for the other one. No?
Yeah. I know, and I get it, and I think we're like a young sport or young fitness racing sport, Yeah, so we do sit down and like, you know, think about it and like come up with rules and come up with certain like processes. And but then, you know, if it doesn't work, we'll change it. But you know, this is what we set for the season, and this is what we're gonna stick with, because this is what we this is what we thought of as a whole concept, and we're not going to change it mid-season. However, you know, we're always open for criticism and stuff like that, and constructive criticism. And I can't 100%. I don't know what next season will look like. We might change it a little bit and make it, you know, more reasonable. So anyone
Okay,
can.
so let's look at. I'm actually going to pull up the old leaderboard so we can know what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So, whoa, we want to go to elite ranking, correct?
Correct.
So here we are. These three women,
They made podium.
They automatically are in the world champs because they podiumed, correct?
Exactly, correct.
And then the next 15, like 4 to 15,
Mm-hmm.
are also qualified for the world champs.
Well, yes, it depends. Like, but this is the current ranking. So up until the World Championships, that can still change.
Right, but I'm just saying, just for argument's sake, I'm trying to get clear and help the audience understand.
Yeah, yeah.
So if Alondra has 2 times, obviously we're going to drop one of those, right?
Yeah. I don't know why she's in there. She's always there twice. So Kaiser Sophia would be the 15th at this point. Alondra.
Right.
You know?
Because if you qualified up here, you don't need to qualify again with another time. If Lauren had done another event, it doesn't matter. She's already in from here, correct?
Exactly. Correct.
So there's basically 11 spots that are open after the championship.
Yeah.
And then after Chicago, there'll be less spots. There'll be, right?
Hold on. Why do you say 11? You mean 12?
Sorry, 12. 15 minus 3 is 12, not 11. Correct. So
after Chicago, if like Lauren, Norman, and Michaela and Megan, let's say they all start in Chicago, and let's say if they place again, then there will still be 12 open spots.
Okay. So
but if it's a different set of females on the podium, then it'll be 15 minus 6, so then it'll be 9 open spots.
Okay, so you're saying you would prefer to have less than 15 just because the way you decided, you said we want to stick with what it is. If Lauren wins Chicago, for example.
If Lauren wins Chicago, so if Lauren wins Chicago, then she's already qualified for the Elite 15 World Champion.
Right.
You know, and that slot is open. It won't roll down. It's open, and it's like whoever comes in first on the ranking from 4 to 15. Make sense?
No, you lost me, and just stay with me because other people might be confused as well. So I think me being confused actually helps this call, because maybe some. So you're saying you said it's open, but it doesn't roll down. That's what confused me.
Yeah, that might be an ESL problem, English second language. But okay, how can we put it? So let's start from the beginning. So the European Championships just happened. Lauren, Michaela, and Megan qualified, and that secured their spot at the Elite 15 at the Worlds. Okay, that now leaves 12 open spots for the Elite 15 at the World Champions as of now. So now, if we move on, flash forward to the US Championships, and someone else takes the podium, then Lauren, Michaela, or Megan, right? Let's say for Linda, Miriam, and Alondra, let's go down that list. Linda, Miriam, and Alondra make podium at the US Championships. So then we would have 6 girls who already secured their slot, no matter what time comes around, that they start at the Elite 15 at the World Championships.
But the next 12 would get in.
Hold on, stay with me.
Sorry.
It's 6 now. So we have 6 girls. 6 plus 9 is then 15. So the next 9.
Next 9, not the next 12, right?
Yeah, the next 9 then get in. So that's scenario number 1. Scenario 2 or B would be if Lauren, so we had 3 podiums, so Lauren already secured her spot, and now let's say Lauren, Linda, and Miriam make the podium, right? So then, since Lauren already has her spot at the World Championships, only Linda and Miriam will get the spot, so that's 5 then. So that means those 5 have secured their spot, and that would leave open spots for 10 more to come. So we're again at 15. So that's what I meant with Lauren's spot at the podium, and her automatic qualification for the World Championships will not go to anyone else. It will just remain.
Now, okay, now that makes sense. Now let's go to the hottest topic on the table, which is the actual qualification for Chicago. So if we go for we're going based off this, correct? Or not based on this?
No, we're going based. So this is like it's a little confusing, but
because this is qualification. This is qualification for Worlds we're looking at here, not Chicago.
Yes, this is Worlds right now. This is
so where is the Chicago? Where are those times? Is there a separate elite ranking?
So the Chicago one was before. So basically what we could do now is we can look at, let's stay with the men, right? And we would have to take off, let's take off Alexander, Tim, and Michael.
Right.
Because they all qualified in Maastricht, and they have previously also been in Elite 15. But they're now missing because now their times moved up, and they only show Maastricht here in this view. Yeah. So let's go with Thiago, from Thiago to Dieter Schwarzkopf. Yeah, let's go down from them. So basically what you see here is including Alexander, Tim, and Venish would be the Elite 15 for the US Championships, like from 1 to 15, just not in that order because Alexander, Tim, and Michael got a new time and moved up in the rank, right? Make sense?
Yes.
Following me? Okay.
So
yeah. Question?
So if Joffrey, Peter, and Kelly do not go to Chicago, do David, Holger, and Thomas move in?
Exactly. So everyone else everyone who's not going opens a spot, and we go all the way down, roll down to 30.
So after that, that's it. Kaput.
Kaput. Kaput means broken.
Oh, sorry.
After that, it's stop. There's no
stop.
Halt, stop. So there's no more roll down. That's what we decided on.
So my American friends say, but Mintra, my friends named Ryan and Rich are really good, and these other people were at a quote unquote faster course. What does Hyrox HQ say to that? Because that's the current argument, correct?
Correct. And Rich and Rylan have reached out to me, and I told them I will get back to them after Maastricht. Now, I mean, you get in, like, I haven't gotten back to them, so we're talking first, and but right now they're only saying, let me race if rumor has it that only, for example, maybe 13 people start, and then there's going to be 2 open slots, right? But if we can fill out these slots, then it's only Elite 15, it's not Elite 16,
So the argument is, and this is why I kind of see both sides, because there's been, if you take out personalities, and I like this person and I like Americans, right? Which obviously a lot of us have that bias, whether we know it or not. If you say, listen, some people said, well, they didn't get a time. They could have gotten a time. They focused on DECA. If they'd focused more on, if they went to the DECA champs instead of qualifying, like all that stuff is true, right? And what you're saying is, even if only 6 of these guys or 7 of these people come from Europe, we'd rather have an Elite 12 than an Elite 15, because 30 to us is a magic number. Like, that's the part that I do see why have under, if enough people don't show up in the 30, why not roll it down until you get 15? That's my question.
Yeah, and that's I think it's a good question, and it's a valid point and that's what the point that Rich and Rylan have. However, it's kind of based on hearsay because they think it's not full 15, right? But then in addition, it's also the talk is that the sleds and the cores and everything is just so different in the US, right? But now, I mean, we just had a European Open Championship, and Lauren Weeks won, like a US girl won, right? So it's I guess it's always two sides to the story, and you can never make everyone happy. There's always going to be people who don't like what you do, but it's just something, like, again, it's something we came up at the beginning of the season. We sat down, we gave some thought into it, and we actually, believe in the concept. And however, I'm not saying, everything is written in stone. We are open for, feedback and stuff like that. And I do appreciate both of them and reaching out to me, and we'll do some thinking, and then we'll come up with an answer, with a solution. But yeah, this whole argument is based on the rumor that we don't have 15 people in the elite race.
Well, that's the part that I'm trying to distinguish fact from rumor. Like that's why I'm having you on to ask to clear these things up.
Okay, I can tell you this. We're still 3 weeks out, right? And that's correct. We don't have a full 15, but I'm still waiting on a couple of answers.
How many events before Chicago?
What do you mean?
Are there any more events?
I think we have 3 more, but it doesn't matter. I'm not talking to anyone new. I'm talking to like whoever, because we had a cutoff date. The cutoff date was December 10th, and there's no, like, none of these. The board, like the ranking, the view that we have, it will change. But like the top 15 or the top 30.
Right. So the only way for them to qualify after December 10th was to go to Europe, was to go and try to place in the top 3 at this recent event. They could have done that.
What? No, come again with that question.
No, I guess no. That would still just be Worlds. If Rich or Rylan went to Maastricht, and I'm saying it wrong. I mean, went to the Netherlands, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, Maastricht is an exception. They couldn't have qualified for the elite at Maastricht because there was no pro category. But
right.
let's say they go to Manchester next weekend, yeah, and then let's say they both run 58 minutes. That would have put them right into the elite 15, and that would give them a time that will qualify them as a date of Manchester for the Worlds. However, it will not matter for the US Championships because that cutoff date was the 10th of December 2022. So we freezed in that ranking, and we're only asking these 30,
Right. So technically they could have won Europe, but still not qualified for Chicago, but they would have won Europe.
In Maastricht, you mean?
Yes.
Yes, because it's an open, yeah, because they would have started in the open category with open weights.
Why?
There was no pro weights in Maastricht.
Why not open it? Because I feel like we ran into the same thing last year with Vegas. Why not make it as close as possible? What do you need to do? As long as there's at least a couple weeks or a week even to get the board straight, why not keep it open for as long as possible?
Well,
why cut it off in December?
Because December 10th was the last event, and then we only had one event, I think, or no, we didn't even have this was our first event this year. There was no event in between. This was we just did exactly what you said. We cut it out. We left it open for as long as possible up until the very end. But it had to be fair because the European Championships and the US Championships, they are staggered, right? They come behind each other. We couldn't make it happen at the same time, for various reasons. But like, to make it fair, the cutoff date was the same for all. And then it was the last event before Maastricht, and then it was Maastricht.
Got it. This is helping me a lot, and so I also believe helping other people.
I
So
hope
then
so.
another question would be, I listen, I know you're never going to make all people happy all the time, and
Okay.
that we know that each course is slightly different number of loops. The sled's still slightly different for some reason, which we can't understand. But answer when people say, well, the people who are quote unquote the first two seeds ended up finishing last in Europe. So does that mean the system is flawed?
Oh, honestly, you're talking about, yeah, so basically I'm not so much a fan of like degrading someone's uh
Performance?
performance. Thank you. So I rather look at it from a different angle, and I feel like maybe or obviously there are there is something just we need to some things we need to maybe address and figure out like how did that happen,
Yeah, I'm
you
not trying
know?
to take anything away from Tiago, or
But yeah,
we're not trying to
but
bash
it's
them. Just talking about the system.
but yeah, but um the system now was or has to, I don't have an answer for that, honestly.
Okay.
It's just the system we need to look at closely at the system, and it was yeah, we need to figure out how to make, if we make something in Europe, we also have to do it in the States and vice versa. And so that's just something we need to work on still.